It is a lovely spring day outside as I record this. A beautiful day to head toward Mother's Day. Some have said that the United Methodists, or the Methodists, were the ones who made it a national holiday, and I guess we can claim that because it was Anna Jarvis, a Methodist laywoman, who wanted to honor her mother, and in her local church in West Virginia, she began this holiday, and it's grown into what we understand it to be today, a celebration of our mothers. And we have wondered about what we would get for those in our family. But as we did that, I remember also that the relationship between mothers and their children are not always easy. Sometimes they are tense or distanced, and that kind of distances us from the holiday. Or there are those who have not been able to have children or have chosen not to have children. There are those whose own sense of identity has occupied their sense of community. All of these things are part of the beloved community that Jesus has gathered. And in some ways, Jesus' own ministry was to gather those who didn't quite fit a mold that was celebrated by society in those days, to comfort, to care for, to make part of the beloved community, fully enfranchised in this place. And then this year I was remembering mothers that I have sat with, young mothers who have had their first child. And out of the tears of joy also came a remembrance that they had suffered sexual abuse when they were children. All of that came rushing back, especially if they had little girls. And the prayers of protection that they would pray over them, that their lives would be filled with joy and not marked by pain. I was remembering that today and realizing that 25% of young women have experienced childhood sexual abuse. Many by someone who is very close to them. And in that light, I pulled a volume off the shelf edited by Catherine Foote called Survivor Prayers, talking with God about childhood sexual abuse. And I found that it was very healing. Healing in a relationship with God, healing in their inner person, and I believe embraces all of us in the need for prayer and healing. And the commonness of many of these experiences in the human family. They're not exact, but this is what God does for us. And in May, as we look at Mother's Day, as we are in the wake of the Me Too movement, as we lift up the entirety of the human community for healing and for wholeness and for good relationship, I want to share this prayer. The Weaver. I celebrate a mother God, gently weaving, working carefully. I celebrate the hands of skill creating beauty within me. I celebrate the working of the loom, reconnecting myself, weaving a tapestry that picks up threads of pain and anger and grief and loss and power and courage and strength and grace. Here are the broken threads. This should have been solid here. This innocence should have continued on. This openness should have come through here. This pattern of trust should have been right here, making a design that all would see and say, "What beauty." But these threads were broken, ripped from the fabric of me, and I was afraid to show anyone the tear. I thought it was my fault, that all would look and say, "What horror." Now we pick up this broken thread, my weaving God and me. Now we do the work of repair. And as the fabric is made strong, I look in surprise and say to myself, "What beauty I reclaim." Out of the torn places, I reclaim wholeness. Out of the broken places, I reclaim strength. Out of the shatteredness, I reclaim power. Out of the horror and the shame and the pain, I reclaim openness, innocence, and courage. The weaver will not be discouraged or deterred. We weave a fabric which no one's violence will destroy, and I discover the beauty of me. Amen. May God, the Mother God Weaver, reweave the beauty in all of us, especially those who have suffered. Amen.